people competing in blood sport being like, well, no rope, takes away something that you're so used to, and you don't even realize it until it's not there. John is the IWGP heavyweight champion of New Japan Pro Wrestling. I intend to beat him again. I can claim that I'm the unofficial IWGP heavyweight champion. The reason is very simple. I didn't see anything in combat sports that had the same spirit and feeling that what we're creating with Bloodsport. I wanted to take what I had learned and experienced from my trainers and my path in combat sports, kakutogi and prodesu and everything, and try to build an event that could represent this kind of feeling, this aesthetic, this spirit that I was able to experience from people like Antonio Inoki and Carl Gotch and Billy Robinson, and create something that's not just a old way of experiencing things, but something that is very pure and stands out in today's environment. I want to bring what's important from the old professional wrestling, from the older environment of combat sports, and bring that to today's era, to fans and fighters that they are unfamiliar, they don't understand this way. This ring can do that, can revive that kind of feeling again, I think, in combat sports, especially in pro wrestling.
And now these behemoths are trading blows quite evenly once again.
Cornette's going to put more mustard behind it if he wants to match Suzuki.
Such a feeling cannot be, can't be overlooked. It cannot be bypassed. It has to be. There, without violence or difficulty or struggle, there is no combat. This is combat sports, not play nice with each other and make really cute drawing sports. Well, the rules are actually pretty simple, and in fact, I would say simpler than even pro wrestling and today's Sogo Kakutogi. Win by knockout, submission, and submission can be verbal, tap out, or referee stoppage. You could also win by a ring out. So this event has no ropes. You can fall out of the ring and lose if you are unable to get back in the ring within 10 seconds. Other than that, of course, disqualification, because we do have some basic rules like no biting, no eye gouging, no groin shots, no hair pulling, and your basic rules of combat sports in that sense. But all submissions are legal, almost all strikes are legal. We want these wrestlers, these fighters, to be able to use every tool available to them best as possible. That includes headbutts, that includes soccer ball kick, and suplex, and bombs and drivers, everything you can think of just about. Yes, yes. People want to see something that is definite. People want to see two athletes struggle and give their absolute utmost in the sake of trying to completely dominate and overcome the other opponent. To do that, you have to have these bare bones, very basic rules to allow these athletes to use everything at their disposal to absolutely destroy and dominate their opponent. And even if they should be unable to finish each other, the only way you can really make a true effort in this ring is to go with everything you've got. Sometimes you will come out on top, sometimes you will lose. And on the rare occasion, maybe nobody wins. You could have a draw if time expires and there is no finish. Removing the ropes increases the potential for danger, of course, but it also takes away potential advantages from the ring itself. You cannot hold somebody up against the ropes and work a clinch style of fight. You cannot use the ropes for a break or to stop from being taken down. You cannot use it to hit the ropes, to gather speed and energy into your attacks, same as you cannot whip your opponent into the ropes. The advantage from the ropes, and some wrestlers, like rest in peace, Hayabusa, would use the ropes to springboard into a moonsault onto his opponent. Those things are all taken away by removing the ropes, but it also increases the danger. So let's say if you should happen to get power bombed completely from the ring to the floor, it's a long drop. Of course, but that's the same everywhere. It's just we're increasing that level. If you thought you needed a lot of heart to get into a ring or a cage, you're going to need that much more to get into Bloodsport. I think the pinfall is a great rule in general for combat sports. I feel like it's got a great place in many disciplines like wrestling, professional wrestling, catch wrestling, but also in judo with the osaikomi as a pinfall. But we want things more definite than even a pinfall. We want to see the ultimate in complete victory, and therefore that's why we don't have any pinfall rule. With every different type of environment you fight in, ring versus cage or mat, or the Bloodsport ring with no ropes, the different rule sets, if you were fighting in Pride or Raijin or UFC or Pancras in 1994, the rules are all different in all of these occasions, and the rules can change anywhere in the world with whatever event you may be involved in. This is always a challenge that the athlete has to overcome, that has to figure out a way to excel and succeed, even if it may be something that works against you. Sometimes it works for you. I don't view these differences as unique challenges to me, but I do realize that it can be very intimidating to other athletes, and I've heard it before. People competing in Bloodsport being like, well, no ropes. I mean, it takes away something that you're so used to, and you don't even realize it until it's not there. They've loved it so far. We have sold out almost every single show we've ever had. We're up to Bloodsport 11 in the United States, with Bloodsport Bushido being the first one internationally and happening here in Japan. The reaction has been incredible. The last Bloodsport show in Philadelphia had what seemed like half of the WWE locker room there in the back watching. So from the fans to the wrestlers themselves, everybody wants to be a part of this. That's part of how our show is different, in that there isn't an exact pattern that you can always trace as to how things are going, or whether or not this match is finding a conclusion. You can't be looking at your phone at these shows. You have to keep your eyes on the ring and on the action, because at any moment, that could be the end. That was an easy choice to make, to pick Japan. Japan is where my roots for combat sports are derived. It is where I really developed who I am as a young fighter. And it's the place where the people that coached and mentored me were based and where they made their career. So in a lot of ways, Bloodsports in America is taking all that I have experienced and all that I had learned from being in Japan as a combat athlete and bringing it over to America and showing this different side, this different approach. So you could argue that doing the show here in Japan is coming home. People have been really excited to see how this is all going to happen. The matchups that we've created, the different athletes that will be appearing in this show, while really most people here are not first timers for people to watch them compete. It just being in this ring makes everything seem like a debut almost, a new version of themselves even perhaps. And the international response has been incredible. Very excited, very how can I put it best? Tenacious. The main event must have a match worthy enough to be the top of the card. In this case, you have a rematch from Bloodsport 6. Many things have changed between us and who we were then to who we will be on June 22nd. But the thing that is most important about us remains the same. We're two people who are willing to die in the ring. Two people who will fight anyone, anywhere, anytime. And at this point, John is the IWGP Heavyweight Champion of New Japan Pro Wrestling. But if you're familiar with our first match, when we fought in Tampa, he was the US Champion for New Japan Pro Wrestling. And I beat him then. So I intend to beat him again. This time, I can claim that I'm the unofficial IWGP Heavyweight Champion. But to do so, I have to be able to take it out of John. And that's going to be a tall order. Yes, Moxley will never stop, will never quit. So you have to try and kill him. Otherwise, there's no way that you can get him to back off. It's just not going to happen. But thankfully, I'm capable of taking a man's life if I need to. And if we're covered in blood, it happens. But at the end of the day, I was able to get my hand raised. So I know what it's going to take. Yeah, I guess if you wanted to pick one match from our catalog, my match versus Jon Moxley is a great example. You could use that as potentially this is what to expect. This is the kind of show this is. That or my match versus Minoru Suzuki in the first show we did. The two matches that I think will stand out especially, well, I mean, it's multiple matches, but I think the tournament is going to really shine on that night. I think that every wrestler involved in the tournament brings something a little different to the ring, and all of them are really looking to make this their moment to really shine. Other than that, though, I think a lot of people will be surprised by Rampage versus Shrek. Maybe it'll be the ugliest of all the fights on the card, but and I'm not talking about their faces, but it's gonna be brutal. There's just no way it could be any different. And I think, yeah, the whole card itself is filled full of some really amazing matches and amazing athletes. Santino Marella is in a full-blown training camp right now for Sakuraba. He's going to really shock people. I just showed him a video and said, hey, do you want to fight? That's all it took. Plus, he loves coming back to Japan any chance he gets. There's a lot of reasons. I mean, there's a lot to like here. In one sense, it's a very beautiful country. The environment, the forests, the rivers, the mountains, it's got such beautiful nature within these islands. I don't know, it's really hard to say, but ever since being a kid, even as a young boy, some of it is the concept of Bushido, which is part of the reason why we named our show Bloodsport Bushido for Japan, and how Bushido isn't something that is just about combat sports, it's about life in general. I think that kind of way of thinking is maybe a bit lost in today's world. and it could be served by perhaps people taking up this kind of thought, this kind of feeling again. Also, Japan is just full of cool stuff. There's a lot of really cool, interesting art and media and just ideas here. I couldn't distill it into, it's not just about a thing, it's the fact that it's Japan is that I love it. And when you think about what it is to be Japanese, to be in Japan, and what the spirit of that sort of thing is, yeah, try to define it. Why wouldn't I like it? Do you like it? Of course, it's cool. It's got all the things I loved as a kid. Mad Max, martial arts, and Bruce Lee. So it's all, and pro wrestling also. You can see characters that were inspired by professional wrestlers. The artwork is very strong and like inspiring. So plus it's a very, I know men and women like it both, but it's got a very male-centered kind of feeling and sense of brotherhood and love, and yeah, it just always spoke to me. And it's funny, as I get older, maybe I feel more like Raoul than Kenshiro. That's a good question. The most expensive maybe anime good I ever bought was probably a Chogokin, like a vintage Chogokin, not brand new, but although I did buy some of them when they were new, like the Solo Chogokin line and stuff like that, although now a bunch of those are really expensive too because they're collector's items. But yeah, I think I bought something like a vintage Bottoms or something like that, and it was a little pricey. Whatever, I'm a big kid at heart. I don't remember. It had to be maybe Yonmon, Gomon, something like that. An old one, you know, in still good shape. Of course, Mandarake. Yeah. As a kid, when I knew of Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z and Dr. Slump and different projects that he had done, and then I learned that he was the character designer for Dragon Quest. So I always had big respect for Toriyama-san, Toriyama Sensei. I think he's done many wonderful things for people in the world and given a lot of great entertainment, but also touched people very deeply. I can't say I'm really a Dragon Ball fan, but I'm a Toriyama fan, just in general. I don't really like new anime. I don't like modern anime much. Some, maybe. I'm interested to see Garoden as an anime. And I thought that there's another very similar anime. What is that one called? Kengen Ashura is on Netflix. It's fun. I used to be able to remember some of their names, but I know the voice actor for Kenshiro is Akira Kamiya. Yes, Kamiya Akira. And the guy who is the voice actor for Shin in Hokuto no Ken is also the same voice actor as Ataru in Yu Urusei Yatsura. I think it's the same guy. But I don't really follow voice actors. They're very talented though. It takes a lot of skill to do voice work. I've done very, very little, but it's tough. And I have a lot of appreciation for the best of them and how you can find that real emotion in their dialogue, even though they have to act in a little box, you know? Yes, yes, yes. Natto. Cannot eat natto. I've tried. I understand all the benefits from natto, but I just can't do it. Although I have had natto in not traditional style, but like in soup or different, it can be okay that way. But you know, put the egg in, mix it. I can't do it. Can't do it. And I have eaten chanja and horomon, and I'm just not a fan. I think, why eat that when I could eat the fish, or I can eat, steak? Why am I going to eat? It's not as good. Now, the list of foods I like is incredibly long. So, everybody likes ramen, don, soba. That's all great. I love the simplest things like that, or even just katsukare, or I remember eating oyakudon on the road with New Japan Pro Wrestling all the time. Japan's A5, A4 Wagyu is really is incredible when cooked right. Yakiniku is amazing. We have Korean barbecue all over the US, but yakiniku, the way the meats are marinated, the way the cuts are done, I just prefer it so much. And okonomiyaki, I've had unagi don. Sushi is good too here, but I usually go towards the different foods. I love, here's something, tonkatsu. I love a really good tonkatsu. Truly, the food in Japan is incredible. And everybody I bring here, even people that have trouble with certain types of foods, that maybe they avoid this or avoid that, they'll come to Japan, eat the foods that they normally cannot eat in America, no problems. Or people that will be in Japan for 1 week or so, and after eating the foods here over a week, certain conditions have gone away. Certain stomach problems and other things, gone. They even really simple stuff, shokupan. I love shokupan. That Ginza, I forget the name of the company, but Nishikawa Ginza. Incredible, but normal, just plain, toasted. I mean, I'm not supposed to eat that kind of stuff generally, but it's so delicious. And I'll eat the whole bread, the whole loaf in 2 days. Not good for me. This is Josh Barnett, and you are seeing me here on Abema, which is also where you can see Josh Barnett's Bloodsport Bushido. You're a pro wrestling fan. You're a Sogo Kaktogi fan. You think you've seen everything. Well, you're wrong. You haven't seen everything until you've seen what we do at Bloodsport Bushido. This is not typical. This is not normal. I promise you, you've seen this fight before. You've seen this athlete before, but you've never seen him in this ring. So you're gonna have to tune in here on Abema to find out.